Hey there, Cavalry Crew, A-Team volunteers. Today we are going to look at how do we print color items on the Buck printer. And up here in the fabulous media room, we have several different printers that are available. But when we print color, we need to print on Buck. Color Buck is the main printer. So be sure and bring the laptop with you, because as you go along, you may need to make some modifications and you'll need your laptop with you to make sure that you can get it set up correctly. So let's go through some of the functions of getting things printed in color. Today, we're going to be using the new volunteer integration checklist as an example. Let's get started. So here is the Buck color printer. Notice I have my laptop up here with the document on, and then on the side here we also have the paper feeder tray extended here for the cardstock, which is the paper that we're using here. The paper is pretty thick. This is actually cardstock type paper. They need to be fed individually one at a time. Right, so let's take a look at the next. First of all, make sure you're into the Google Drive for the volunteer ministry, and also in the upper right hand side here, you want to make sure that the Wi-Fi setting is on the Calvary private network, the Calvary PVT network. That is how we gain access to the network, the same network that the printers are on. We're going to look for new volunteer requirements checklist. Right? And if we spell that correctly, it's probably going to go a little bit better, but we see the file there. So here it is right there, new volunteer. See, this is a Google Slides. So we're going to click on that. That's going to open up the new volunteer requirement checklist. And this is a checklist that we use for new volunteers. We print this on cardstock to give to new volunteers so they can manually keep track of the status of their integration process. So when we pull up this file right here, then we're going to go over here to the file command, scoot all the way down, scroll down to print, and press print. Now, this is going to bring up the dialog box that is from Google, but what we want to do is actually go down here where it says more settings, click on more settings, and scroll down, and right here where it says print using system dialog, I want to click on that. That's very important. So you can see here that Buck is the printer that's selected. So if that printer isn't selected on your laptop, make sure that you go select it here. Then I have a setting set up here with two sides, but this needs to be checked here, two-sided. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to this field right here where it says layout, and we're going to go to the print panel. Click on the print panel. And then when that pulls up this little window here, right, this looks, so we go to settings. This is actually going to open up the detailed print dialog box for us to interact with the printer. So we're going to go auto source select, and we're going to select the bypass tray as the source, because that's where we're going to put the cardstock in. It's very important to put cardstock in the bypass tray and not the regular paper. Then on the media type, cardstock is not available here, but we do have thick available. So we click on the thick. So we've got the tray that the feed is coming from, bypass on the side. And then over here we have the thick telling it that the paper is a thicker stock. Then we need to go through and check on the finishing and make sure that we have the short edge finishing on here. That's very important so it prints correctly from one side to the other. All right, so then we're going to click OK, and I'm going to increase the amount to 30. And then press print right here, and it's gonna let it go. Now we're gonna feed the paper in one at a time. Here we are feeding the individual sheets in for the cardstock. As it pulls them, you want to be sure you just get it to just the lip. It'll actually pull the document in. Comes out right here, and we look, and there it's correct from one side to the other. And that's how we print it. Next, we're going to cut it with the paper trimmer down the middle to get our final piece. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to cut these in half so that they're properly ready. So you're going to lay it in here, and you're going to notice that pull up the blade all the way, and then to measure it, it's actually going to be on the, looks like 6.5 inches right there is the proper depth. And then make sure that your fingers are not anywhere near the blade, but hold it over here so it stays nice and flat like this. Then we're going to take this handle and slowly pull down and cut that, and that's what's going to give us our spacing for the volunteer checklist, right? So there we go. Now we have 2 of the volunteer checklists that are completed. All right, thanks guys, appreciate all you do.